What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to USD. As you guys saw in the title, a big move is going to happen within the cryptocurrencies and the market very soon. As you guys know, hopefully yesterday's video we discussed this a little bit, but specifically I want to go really more in depth in today's episode. You can see specifically that we're seeing a lot of consolidation happening within a lot of the big cryptocurrencies, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP especially. You can see right now clearly that Bitcoin and the other cryptos are basically just trending sideways in between what appears to be its high-low minimum moving average. Now we've seen this, a long time ago, and it usually tends to end with a big burst of volume, whether that's a bullish move or whether it is a bearish move to the downside. It does usually end with a big burst of volume. So as you guys can see in the past, we haven't really seen one of these in a long time. The last one we saw was back in January of 2020. So it's been a few months, and the time has come where we're now intertwined back in this again. So we're really waiting for that, that confirmation of a bullish break to the upside or a bearish break to the downside, and the volume and the trades that we could go ahead and confirm off of those movements. Same thing with Ethereum and XRP. Otherwise, guys, that's going to basically discuss what we're going to go over. If any of that sounds good, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. So guys, just a huge shout out to everybody subscribing to the channel. We're just a few, subscribers off from breaking 14,000 subscribers. So definitely make sure to smash that subscribe button. Otherwise, in discussion with yesterday's video, we were discussing that volume is incoming and that I'm about to buy in. And I just want to clarify more in today's video what exactly I'm referencing, because I feel like to some, when they see volume incoming, it is a reference to a bullish move, but you can clearly see the bearish signal of the bear on here in reference to what I am anticipating is going to be a bearish break to the downside, and I'd be buying in relevance to shorting the market back down to lower levels. I believe I've had numerous people ask me what exactly is shorting, so I'll also be discussing a little bit more about that and how to use DueDEX a little bit later on in today's video. I have a video solely based on that, which you can find on my channel if you just search for DueDEX or just scroll through. It's very apparent. Otherwise, I do just want to dive into the technical analysis, specifically as you guys can see on the markets right now that we are bearish, we are down. I'll just give a quick refresh in case this is old, but as you guys can clearly see, it's not. And the markets for the most part are down about 1 to maybe 3% total out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Really not much movement besides Tezos, but I don't really like to pay attention to that. We did have our bounce, and it looks like we're going to see some sort of double bottom, but ultimately I do believe that this is in reference to the fact that we did top off. We hit a very strong resistance at the upside, and that we are going to start to correct back to the downside. And I know that's unfortunate, but I do want to go into a brief discussion as to how that's actually potentially beneficial for the market, and we can actually make quite a bit of profit off of moves to the downside. So without further ado, jumping into Bitcoin and Litecoin, I do like to pair those both together because at this moment, Litecoin and Bitcoin are both following through with very similar patterns. And then I like to group Ethereum and XRP because those at the same time are also developing very similar patterns. So let's discuss Litecoin first, then we'll go into Bitcoin and DueDEX. So you can see really quickly, we've had numerous days right now. If we exclude this major drop, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days now, almost a week now of inconsistency and uncertainty in the market, clearly trading in between the high-low MMAs. You can see the bottom support at around 58 and the top resistance that I capped off at around $61 to $62. This is basically in reference to which way we are going to go. Basically, what we are looking for is a day of closing with a candle either closing above or below these supports and resistances. If we are able to close above resistance of 62, there's a very high chance we will be blasting up to 72 with extreme volume, similar to what we can see here. And vice versa, if we close below this resistance of 59 or support at 59, good chance we're going to drop very rapidly down to the $51 range. Now, in reference to something that we haven't seen in a long time, if we just scroll back to the last time we were trending inside the high-low MMA on Litecoin, it really hasn't been, it's been a while. It hasn't been, recently, and I'm not really seeing much where we've traded in between there. I'm going to reference more specifically the Bitcoin chart, as that does show more sophisticated trends that we've seen more recently. But you can see this is probably the only thing I can reference. We were slightly trading inside of it as well as above it, and then it usually tends to end with a sudden burst of volume, whether it's to the upside or the downside. That's merely what I'm referencing right now for the current market, that we are trending inside of here. It hasn't happened in a long time, and this usually tends to break with a very violent and aggressive form of volume, and we'll pretty much be ready for whichever direction it does break. We'll discuss that later on in today's video, specifically looking at Bitcoin and how it is in relevance to DueDEX. Also, if you guys want my trades or are trying to follow along with my trades and you want some more support, or you want to get into contact with me personally, definitely make sure to check out my Patreon. It is linked in the description. Huge shout out to everybody that is signing up. We're almost at 40 patrons on there. It is growing absolutely wild, and there are only a few spots left, so definitely make sure to check that out. It does help support the channel, so I do appreciate those who are already taking advantage of this, because, you know, once it fills up, there's going to be no spots left because I'm only one person. Otherwise, to move on in regards to the shorting positions and the Bitcoin trades, you can see the same thing applies with Litecoin as it does with Bitcoin, that we have been trading for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days now. Sideways movement in between this high-low middle moving average, and this usually tends to break bearish. In regards to something we haven't seen in a long time, you can see just recently back in 2020, the beginning, you can see we traded the same week out, and then we ended up breaking with significant volume to the upside, hitting our previous resistance up here. But you can see this is the volume injection we're looking for. We're looking for that same thing, which is going to happen, I can guarantee, a major burst in volume. It's not going to be some slow movement like this. We won't see a very light trickle like this. It's going to be one of these. It's going to be straight up, or it's going to be straight down. Now, in reference to which direction it goes, hard to predict right now. I'm leaning more towards the bear side because the bears do seem to be a little bit stronger. And then in reference to when to be buying in and selling short, that is all linked specifically in my Patreon in reference to the prices, when to be buying in, what my positions are. For those of you that are still a little bit more interested, if we break below this line right here, there's a good chance we'll be falling down to this support of $8,000. And if we can break this resistance of 9,000, there's a good chance we'll be shooting up to 10.5 very quickly. So that's what I'm referencing in regards to these two cryptos. In regards to DueDEX, obviously you can take advantage of this movement because DueDEX does offer shorting, unlike Coinbase Pro. I think Binance does it now too. And you can also leverage trade, so you don't actually have to start off with a lot of money to make money. I know that sounds crazy, but with leverage trading, you can put in $100 and then trade it by 10 times leverage and be trading around with a margin of $1,000 and make profit off what you would have theoretically have invested of $1,000 when you've only invested your original investment of $100. So it does work out in its favor, and I do like to play around with this because it does increase profits. It is higher risk when you trade higher up on the leverage, but it does increase profits. Now, in reference to selling short, like I said, we are getting rejected from this uptrend or this downtrend right here, this resistance. You can see clearly on the DueDEX chart that we are getting broken and we are starting to fall lower. There's a good chance that that is another reason why I'm fairly bearish on the market, and I would be selling short when we see that confirmation below the 85.50 or honestly the $8,500 resist or support. And once we break through there, there's a very good chance we'll fall all the way to 8K. And now to end today's video with looking at Ethereum and XRP, which in reference to how they are similar, you can see the clear uptrend right here. And that same thing applies to Ethereum. It's clear uptrend right here. It's a little different than Litecoin and Bitcoin, but you can clearly see what was anticipated 2 days ago was this beautiful candle wick that shot us all the way up. We broke through resistance, but immediately came right back down into there. And once again, we are getting sandwiched in between resistance of 225 and our support uptrend right here. So the fact that we're once again getting intertwined in between here is there's a good chance that we are going to pop with significant volume. If we can break once again, closing candle above, I would honestly push it a little bit higher, maybe 230. If we can close above 230, good chance we'll explode up to 256, if not 275. And on the other end, if we break bearish, which is what I'm leaning more towards, there's a good chance we're going to fall all the way down to 183 fairly quick. So definitely pay attention to that. But it is going to happen, and it is going to be very significant, very big, and a ton of volume is going to come in. And that's going to happen very quickly. So you should be paying attention very close. Set up, tickers and watch orders. I know Coinbase offers price alerts. Binance does too. So it's definitely advised that you offer or you add that to your phone so you can get updates, as well as turn on post notifications so you get my updates in regards to what I'm doing. And then lastly, XRP, for those of you invested in this, very similar with with Ethereum. It is getting sandwiched with a clear resistance of 23 cents. And you can see, or I'd say a little bit higher, maybe even 24 cents, as this is the resistance. If the market goes and Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum start to drop, the same exact thing is going to happen with that XRP, and you're going to see a drop at significant volume down to 20 cents. That's if we break this uptrend right here. On the upside, if we break bullish, good chance we'll be retesting 25 cents, if not higher, with FOMO investing. But otherwise, that's pretty much going to wrap up today's video, guys. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, definitely make sure to check out the links in the description. My Patreon, DueDEX is also linked in the description. Otherwise, definitely make sure to subscribe for future giveaways, future updates, as well as follow me on on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. And I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.